Welcome to Philosophical Phantoms, the debate from beyond the grave. I'm your host, Nico D'Angelo. Tonight, we bridge the divide between the classical world and the emerging Christian era. Our participants are separated by geography, but united by their work within Neoplatonism. Hypatia of Alexandria, the Neoplatonist, and Augustine of Hippo, the Christian bishop. The structure is simple. We will address three topics: the nature of reality, the source of evil, and the path of knowledge. Hypatia, you have the floor for the opening address. Thank you, Nico. I stand in the tradition of Plotinus, seeking ultimate reality through reason and intellectual perfection. Reality is a perfectly ordered stem from the ineffable one. The one is beyond a being, prior to all thought and existence. From it flows the nous, the divine intellect, which contains the blueprint of the cosmos, the eternal forms that give structure to reality. Below the nous is the world soul, which organizes the changeable material world. My work in mathematics and astronomy is the study of the nous itself. Geometry is the language of the forms. The cosmos is self-sufficiently ordered and accessible to the disciplined human mind. The truth is within us, waiting to be rediscovered by the rational soul.
Hypatia, you speak beautifully of an impersonal source, the one, but I offer you a personal sovereign creator, God. Reality is not a necessary overflow or emanation. It is an act of creation ex nihilo, out of nothing, by a perfect will. You place the forms in a separate intellect. I argue they are ideas in the mind of God. God is not merely prior to all thought. He is the veritas, the truth itself, and the summum bonum, the highest good. The cosmos is ordered because it is designed by a perfect being, but that order is not impersonal. It is sustained by love and grace. The ultimate reality is not an abstract geometric point, but a triune God who relates to his creation.
Bishop, you use Platonic structure, but alter the very source. Hypatia, what is the consequence of replacing your transcendent impersonal one with Augustine's personal, creating God? The consequence that the divine becomes subject to human narrative. When the ultimate principle is given a name and will, it is reduced. My one guarantees the performance of absolute truth. It cannot be angered, flattered, or persuaded. It simply is, and we must rise to meet it through intellect ascent. Augustine's God, by contrast, governs through decree, requiring submission rather than contemplation. This elevates faith over inquiry, which is the abandonment of philosophy itself.
Respectfully, Hypatia, I elevate understanding through belief. God's personality does not reduce him, it makes him knowable. The incarnation is the very moment, eternal reality intersected with the temporal world, giving us a bridge that mere human reason cannot build. To find the one, you must perfect yourself over lifetimes. To find God, you need to turn your will, acknowledging your creaturehood. This is not abandonment, it is fulfillment of philosophy in divine revelation.
Let's turn to the great problem, evil. Hypatia, as a Neoplatonist, how does evil arise in a cosmos that flows from the perfect one? As I maintain, evil is not a substance, but a deficiency, a privation of the good. It is what results from the soul's downward drift toward matter, which is the furthest removed from the one's perfections. A sculptor strives for a perfect form, but the statue's imperfections are not a separate evil substance, they are simply the absence of the sculptor's perfect intent. When the soul chooses the pleasures of the body, matter, over the pursuits of the mind, intellect, it suffers the privation. The solution is disciplined self purification and the return to a life of governed reason.
Your diagnosis of evil as a privation is intellectually sound. I wholeheartedly adopt it. But it utterly fails as a moral or psychological explanation for the state of the world. Why does the soul drift? Why does it choose the lesser good? My answer is original sin. Our free will was created good, but by Adam's rebellion, it became wounded and enslaved, constantly choosing self love. Cupiditis over divine love, Caritas. Hypatia, your system has no place for guilt. We are not merely forgetful, we are culpable. The suffering of the world is not a geometric error, it is a consequence of a radical, distorted will. The only remedy is the external, unmerited gift of divine grace.
Hypatia. Augustine claims the Neoplatonic reliance on self-purification is insufficient to overcome the deep-seated moral flaw. How does pure contemplation save a soul's suffering from what he refers to as sin? Contemplation is not a passive act. It is the highest moral action. A soul illuminated by the forms, courage, justice, temperance, cannot knowingly choose an injustice. If the will is flawed, it is due to ignorance, not an inherited curse. The rigorous study of conics and number theory forces the mind to look past the fleeting shadows of the cave and perceive eternal perfect truth. The act of intellectual focus is the purification. The soul saves itself by reconnecting with the nous, using the tools nature gave it reason, logic. Your doctoring, Bishop, replaces human effort with fatalism and dependence. Our final topic. How does the ordinary person attain ultimate truth? Hypatia. Must they all be mathematicians? Not all must calculate, but all must think. The path is to illumination, but it is an internal intellectual illumination. We grasp a universal truth that 2 plus 2 is 4, that the sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. That knowledge is not learned from the senses. It is recognized by the immortal part of the soul because it partakes in the nous. Ultimate truth is accessible through this rational intuition. Our task is to clear the clutter, the body's passion and desires, so that the light of the nous may shine forth.
I agree that the truth is accessed through illumination, but I insist that the light source is Christ, the Logos. You claim the mind can clear the clutter on its own. I say it can only recognize its own broken state. The soul needs a firm starting point, and I stand on this principle. Nessus creditus, non intelligus. Unless you believe, you will not understand. Faith is the precondition, the healing balm that allows our wounded reason to function properly. The farmer and the scholar, the slave and the emperor, all access God's truth, not through historic philosophy, but through the universal, humble path of faith in revelation. Your path is exclusive, Hypatia. Mine is for all humanity.
Well, the clash between the wisdom that is earned and the salvation that is given remains unresolved. We thank Hypatia of Alexandria, the champion of intellect ascent, and Augustine of Hippo, the prominent of faith and grace, for illuminating essential questions of the human soul. I'm afraid that's all we have time for, folks. See you next time on Philosophical Phantoms, a debate from beyond the grave.